In this example, the third in the series, Schubert gives us a wonderful use of the diminished seventh chord in two ways. I should mention that the numbering of this series is not meant to imply any sequence or program. Each example stands on its own. At this level of information on harmony, the material isn't sequential. Our example opens in the first measure in the key of A flat major, and the key signature of the piece is 4 flats. The piece itself is in F minor. In measure 4, we encounter a diminished seventh chord, which, stacked into thirds, would be labeled an A diminished seventh. This is being used as a secondary diminished seventh to a 2 chord, B flat minor. There is a thought in some circles of music theory that this chord can also be labeled a secondary dominant seventh with a flatted ninth and the root implied a major third below the bass note of the diminished seventh. In this case, an F would be implied a major third below A, and sure enough, F is the dominant to B flat. Here's the way it looks as a model. Look at the first example here. However, when we look at measure 5, B flat minor is nowhere to be seen. Instead, we have G flat major in second inversion. We should suspect that our diminished seventh chord was a pivot chord in some way, and that is the case. The function of the diminished seventh chord in relation to the G flat chord is as a common tone diminished seventh. Where's the common tone? Take a look at the G flat in both measure 4 and 5. There it is, and it's been used as a coloration chord by many composers. One can go from a G flat major to a G flat diminished seventh and back without having to go anywhere and get all those nice chromatic notes for free. Here's that model, the second example. Now there is another way to skin the analysis cat here. We can also consider the resolution of the secondary diminished seventh to be going to the flatted sixth of B flat minor, G flat. In other words, we can also think of this simply as a deceptive cadence. Take your pick. Moving on, over measures 5, 6, and 7, Schubert has that low D flat throbbing in some kind of a dominant function, we might think. Think again. On the last quarter note of measure 7, instead of a D flat 7 with C flat as the minor seventh interval, we have a B natural, and harmonically spelled as a B natural, as the augmented sixth interval, and we have therefore a German augmented sixth, with the notes of the augmented interval resolved outward to the dominant note. Behold, D flat goes to C and B goes to C, which becomes the dominant to the original key of the song F minor. In measure 9, not shown, the C triad resolves to an F minor. Well, wait a minute. Where did that G flat tonicity come from? G flat isn't part of F minor. Go back to the A flat major section and know that Schubert uses major and minor forms at will, both parallel and relative. So A flat is the relative major to F minor and G flat is the lowered seventh degree of A flat minor. That's one technical answer. We can also find G flat from the relative major to B flat minor, the fourth degree of F minor. However, Schubert knows he's made a neat move, and he doesn't want us to miss it. In measure 4, he indicates a crescendo to that G flat chord and even a sforzando in measure 5. Thanks for watching and listening.